The Test of Nonverbal Intelligence, 4th edition.
The TONI-4 is a norm-referenced standardized test for individuals between the ages 6 years, 0 months to 89 years, 11 months. It is used to measure general intelligence of an individual. It measures general intellectual function, intellectual impairment, helps verify the validity of referrals for treatment, therapy, and special services. In addition to these uses, it can also be used to formulate hypotheses for intervention as well as conducting research.
The TONI-4 comes in a sturdy transport box. In the box is an examiner's manual, a book on testing research information, testing picture easel that contains both forms of the test, and record forms for both forms of the test.
Both forms of the test, Form A and Form B, are included in the picture booklet and each have 50 items. These are equivalent forms. Within these picture books is all of the material that will be covered on the test. The TONI can be administered in 2 ways, orally or nonverbally, for those who have impairments preventing them from benefiting from oral administration. Sally is a 60-year-old female who is a 3rd grade elementary school teacher, who was referred due to language impairments after suffering a stroke in her left cerebral area, resulting in Wernicke's aphasia. She lives at home alone, and English is the only language spoken in the home. Sally was at high risk for a stroke as her father suffered from a stroke in the past. She also had high cholesterol. Due to her aphasia, Sally is having a difficult time teaching her class as she is having difficulty with both expressive and receptive components of language. Receptively, Sally is having a hard time comprehending questions students ask her. Expressively, she substitutes verb tenses. These complications led her doctor to refer her for evaluation by a speech-language pathologist.
The examiner starts off the exam by administering the example training items provided. These training items are not scored. This acclimates the examinee to the format of the test. If the examinee has a difficult time understanding what is to be done after all the training items are administered, the training items should be administered a second time. Testing should be discontinued if the example questions are not understood after being reviewed a second time.
This is an example of some of the training items, and also an example of what some of the items on the test would look like. In this example, the examiner is giving the TONI orally, since the client does not have any impairments warranting nonverbal administration.
Hi Sally, my name is Rachel, and today we're going to be doing the Test of Nonverbal Intelligence, the 4th edition. So I'm going to give you some instructions and have you point to some pictures. We're going to start with some training items. Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in this box? Do this one yourself. Do this one yourself. Do this one yourself. And do this one yourself.
After all training items have been successfully administered and the client demonstrates understanding, actual testing begins. For ages 6 to 9, you begin testing at item 1. For ages 10 and up, you begin testing at item 20.
Which one of these goes in this box? 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 Which one of these goes in this box?
For those 5 items, the client answered all questions correctly.
Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in these boxes? Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in this box? For those consecutive 5 items, the client answered 3 items incorrectly, thus ending testing.
Items are scored as either correct or incorrect, and no qualitative judgments are required on the part of the clinician. Raw scores are obtained by computing the sum of all correct responses.
Using Appendix A, Table A1 for Form A, and Table A2 for Form B, convert your raw score into an index score.
Using Appendix B, you can convert your raw score into a percentile rank.
Section 3 on the examiner record form has descriptive terms used to describe test performance and can be converted from index scores and percentile ranks.
For examinees in the school-age population, use Appendix C to convert raw scores into age equivalents.
There's also a section on the record form for administration conditions. These include environmental conditions such as noise level, light, temperatures, and interruptions. It also includes examinee characteristics such as energy level, rapport with examiner, and state of health.
There is also a section on the record form where the clinician can write interpretations and recommendations for the client. Try to correctly answer each item. Which one of these goes in this box? Let's try another. Which one of these goes in this box? Which one of these goes in this box? Last one. Which one of these goes in this box?